2019, the Trust, Tech, and Transparency Edition. We're thrilled to have you all in sunny Scottsdale, and while I know a lot of you have already been digging into the work today, I couldn't be more honored to officially kick things off with y'all. So we are at a very large conference. Why not start with some small talk? Everyone's favorite. For those of y'all I haven't met, my name, again, is Tanya Ladha. I am a director on the CFSI program team, and I've been with CFSI about 6 years now. I work out of our New York office, which is a long way from home as a native Texan. I love pay. I love the heat. I have lived in 9 different cities. I've never had a cup of coffee, and I do eat an apple a day. But enough about me. My turn to ask y'all a question, a simple one that you likely ask countless times or have been asked countless times. Certainly over the next few days will be asked, and the question is, how are you? So how are y'all? All right. I haven't done any formal research on the topic, but my guess is that fine or good is the most common universal response to that question. And isn't that incredible? We are all always fine. I have a story about how I too am always fine. Recently I was on the phone with my sister, and I was tired and cranky and overwhelmed, and she must have heard it in my voice because a few minutes in, for the second time, she asked me, "Hey, are you okay?" "I'm fine," I barked, "but I have to go." And then I hung up. So clearly, I was fine. So what was that about? Why was it so hard for me to share with my sister, who I trust deeply, what was really going on? What about being open and being transparent was so difficult? We've long been conditioned to present flawless and buttoned versions of ourselves. We equate fine with control and with strength and being able to effortlessly manage all that life throws at us. Often with the expectation that we should feel happy about it. We've been led to believe that if we're not smoothly sailing along, that we're doing something wrong. We've made a wrong decision, we've misread a situation, we've made a mistake. We've been told that power and strength, there's no room for weakness or mistake, and should a mistake occur, the powerful certainly do not lead with that mistake, do not publicly expose their vulnerabilities. And should we decide to be open and transparent, we've been told that we already have to have a ton of trust built up. To share your real story was rare. But something is changing. I believe that paradigm is shifting. I believe something radical is happening as we re-examine our collective relationship with trust and transparency. And we're beginning to realize that when we lead with authenticity, that's when we build deep trust. And there's great power in that. So what's behind that shift? I'll admit that being fine or good is still likely all of our default responses. And, that makes sense. It's the easiest and often quickest response. It's ingrained. But technology is ushering in an unprecedented level of transparency. And I believe it's that transparency that's shifting our default settings. For some time now, we've been documenting and sharing all kinds of detail about our life. Every meal we eat, the music we listen to. Have any of y'all been on a boat and not taken a picture? Shared it? We take rides from strangers, we vacation in their homes. We rate every experience that we have, and we rely on others' experiences. We make all manner of purchase decisions based on reviews from people we don't know. It's become so normalized we don't even think about it. We're beginning to trust each other quite a bit, and when I say each other, I often mean total strangers. So a lot of these examples might feel transactional, but I've also started noticing that we're sharing deeply personal sides of ourselves as well. Our heartbreaks and our losses and our frustrations at home or at work. I see people giving rise to, or voice to, rather, their mental health challenges and encouraging others to do the same. I've even started seeing people share stories about their financial health and their financial struggles. Perhaps one of the hardest truths for any of us to share. And as it turns out, we are not all always fine. And what I believe we're discovering is that there's great power in saying so. For those of you who are wondering, I did call my sister back. I apologized and explained what was really going on with me. And of course, I felt better afterwards. I felt connected and supported and ready to face what I had to. So technology has leveraged the power of both community and transparency. Digital platforms are encouraging us to be honest and to also listen to and learn from others. They're creating connection across the physical distance of our known and virtual communities. And those communities are creating space for us to shine light on experiences we once kept hidden, to find comfort in realizing we're not alone and that we still deserve excellence. But we're sharing a lot more than just our stories. We're sharing an incredible amount of our data as well. We conduct so much of our lives online. We date, we bank, we shop, we stream. And the amount of data that we're sharing ranges from the deeply personal to the everyday. Our account balances, our relationship status, how many miles we've walked, how many times we've watched Beyonce's Homecoming. There it is. Netflix will tell you I've watched it twice. And it is in this sharing and this exposure that I believe the root of the paradigm shift lies. In our collective willingness to share our experiences, combined with the knowledge that companies hold vast amounts of our data, I do think it ultimately empowers us. Yes, it can feel scary and unnerving to be vulnerable and to be exposed, but there's also great strength in it. I believe that it's precisely because we share our stories and our data that we often expect, often demand, that transparency and that trust be respected. The more of our lives, the more of ourselves that we share, the more we expect the firms and the institutions that serve us to be proactive in their transparency. Companies can no longer afford to withhold key information. More than likely, people are going to find out. Companies can no longer afford to come clean only once they've been caught. People's trust will already have been broken. But companies can also not buy the kind of loyalty and the kind of trust that comes from coupling technology's unique ability to connect us with bold corporate transparency. In an age when advice is crowdsourced and every experience is shared, information is decentralized, companies have great responsibility, but also great opportunity to deepen customer relationships through trust building. We're all in this room today because we fundamentally believe in improving financial health. We believe we can and must do better, build a better marketplace for the millions among us that are financially struggling and vulnerable. And it's this network, this financial health network, that has proven time and again that there are countless different ways to do that work. But one thing has remained constant. Trust is paramount to success, and it must be earned. It must be gained through an authentic desire to listen to stories, to work alongside customers, to design solutions that empower communities, and to be honest when things go wrong. Because none of us are always fine. But if we trust the people and the platforms and the companies that serve us, we stand a much better chance of getting there. I so look forward to the next 2.5 days of working alongside each of you, listening and learning and figuring out ways that we can earn and keep consumer trust in a data-driven age. So before I kick off content on main stage this afternoon, I do have a few housekeeping items that I didn't memorize. Okay, so first of all, if you haven't already, please do download the Emerge app. It's full of useful information, schedule, content, speakers, locations. There's also a game, so you can do different activities to earn prizes. Winners will be announced on Thursday, and we all hope to win. We want to thank Fifth Third Bank for making that possible, the app. And if you have any trouble accessing the app, go to the registration desk and they should help you out. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Emerge's official financial health sponsor, MetLife Foundation. Thank MetLife Foundation. And Emerge's platinum sponsor, JP Morgan Chase and Prudential Financial.